There's so much history in the Bluff Creek area, and it happens to be very close to and around the area of the creek itself. So
up until certain parts of the creek that people have gone up to, like just around Louse Camp, there's been a lot of stories about a lot of strange things.
No-Go Valley.
No-Go Valley.
Dude, a lot of weird stories that happen there.
Something threw a rock behind him and it landed on the ground right behind him and bounced off down towards the lake.
after a very low level of possible Bigfoot activity at Twin Lakes, Tate and Ron head to Louse Camp to have a day of rest from researching. Louse Camp is a prominent historical camp within the area. It's where the logging crews and the families would sometimes stay. This is the same logging crew that Jerry Crew worked on when he discovered and casted the first tracks of Bigfoot in 1958. In addition, Louse Camp has also had a handful of possible Bigfoot encounters over the years, even to this very day.
Good morning from Louse Camp. We're about to go, what are we about to do, Ron?
We're gonna go hop in Notice Creek, which is like the creek that goes right behind Louse Camp. It's a little swimming hole.
Cold.
Cool, clean water. Good to get a little dirt and scuzz off of us.
Yep, so that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna go jump in the creek. Try and get out of the sun for a minute, cool down. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna have fun, have some beers, just enjoy Louse Camp. So let's get to it.
I should have jumped before you, dude. Because now your reaction makes me not want to do it.
That's cold! It's so cold. Creepiness of Louse Camp, yeah, in my opinion, is a good jumping off point is the creek.
Yeah.
Because you've heard time and time again those stories of like we were hearing ladies or people talking or children playing in the creek, but the way Louse Camp is situated, and then the way the creek is flowing, it has that weird. It has like a weird way the sound waves working. I don't know how to explain it, but you hear weird things in the creek.
Yeah.
And it's just the creek. So I mean, that alone, especially if you're just sitting here by the fire and you're just not talking, you're just listening to the sounds, it's creepy.
Yeah. Well, and there's a couple things about the creek. There's the creek makes a sound, and sound travels weird in here. You're in a dome, essentially, surrounded by higher ridges.
The ridge.
And the creek kind of cuts around, almost completely around camp. There's the road in, and the creek is like right now. I know it's like at least 3 primary directions around us.
It's like up that way, it goes around, and it goes up that way.
So it's almost like a peninsula surrounded by, like, with a creek that wraps around it, and the road that heads out. You know,
it's very weird.
So it's the thing about the creek is, yes, it's sound travels weird in here. The acoustics of like these high ridges around us is it like what we experienced earlier with the dog was moving in the car, but I thought I was hearing something directly behind us.
I thought so too.
Instead of off to like our right. And so there was something like an effect like that. But the creek also, in addition to making sounds and sometimes sounding like voices and stuff, it's also just the idea that there's rushing water. It's not a completely quiet camp, and things could be moving around in the creek or on the other side, getting close, and we don't know.
See, that's the other thing.
There's
I
a
think
psychological aspect to it as well. After a much-needed day off, Tate and Ron break away from Louse Camp to drive to Laird Meadow. Laird Meadow is also rich in Bigfoot history. It's where Bob Titmus casted a handprint in a small pond, and it's also where Roger Patterson casted a track in 1964. And now Tate and Ron will go there in hopes of finding something for themselves.
So we, Ron and I broke, away from Louse Camp. We packed up. Now we're headed up to Laird Meadow. There's a little campground. We're gonna stay out up there. So as soon as we get there, we're gonna set up the blind, and it's gonna be the first thing we do after we get settled in. And then later tonight, we're gonna go out there and see what's walking about in that area. All right, we made it to Laird Meadow, right, Ron? So we're gonna take the blind back into that. There's the big meadow, then like a little back further in there, there's like a tinier meadow. We're gonna stick it up in there, and that's the plan. So the way we can return later tonight, we can walk up here and just go straight to the blind and go in. So
let's get it.
Yep. Oh, there's one of your trail cameras.
Yep. There'll be a lot of stuff to sift through, but if anything walks through that area, probably got a good picture of them.
You know what's crazy? I'm noticing different than last year is how dry it is, like you were saying. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, it's bone dry, and last year the whole meadow was kind of wet.
Yeah, the good news is there's still grass out here, so it's still good grazing area for
any animals. So we're trying to figure out where to put the blind. And the meadow is good, but it's too out in the open. So we're gonna do probably in the tree line. We found a pretty good spot, I think. So this way. We got the blind set up. We're just gonna close up the holes and stuff. That way, when we come back, this blind is ready for us. So now we're headed back to the cars. We're gonna head to our camp. So everything's ready for tonight back in here. So that's good. So we have been here at camp for a little bit. We ate dinner, I would guess. But we're gonna hang around camp for a little bit, wait till it gets dark. I'm gonna take a nap because I am tired, and then we're gonna head to the blind after dark, see what's poking around there. Hopefully our luck changes and we get some stuff happening, but I'm not really thinking something's gonna happen, but I could be wrong. So I want to get some rest, and then we're gonna hit it. So while we have some daylight, we're gonna go check out a ridge it's a road on a ridge that Ron, you thought you heard 2 knocks.
Yeah.
Possibly, and then you found some hair.
Yeah, so I was walking this little road with Bandit, and we came across first I found the tree that was busted up that I look for now, because I know that there's going to be multiple hairs all over those types of trees. They're like marking trees. But I saw that, and then like I spent some time looking and seeing where the hairs were so I can come back with a kit to collect them. And then on the way back, there was like just a good photo opportunity of like a vista with like the last rays of the sun lighting up the the ridge, and I was like, oh cool, I'll take a picture. As I got my camera out to take a picture, it sounded like what to me was like 2 faint knocks from like way out there. So I came back and asked Tate if he did any knocks, and he didn't, and it seemed to me like it was coming from that other ridge across the way, so it wasn't like it was around us on this mountain. But yeah,
so we're gonna go check that out.
Yeah, so I guess we're gonna do a little bit of that before settling into the blind in the meadow.
Yep.
Let's get it.
All right.
With the blind set up earlier in the day, Tate and Ron investigate the knocks that Ron possibly heard after collecting hairs along a road nearby. As the sun begins to set, the 2 researchers start their night investigation. But I'm back here with Tate at the spot, and Tate, that's like down here is kind of where I thought I heard those knocks, like either way down the ridge or maybe at the base or halfway up the opposite ridge.
Down that way?
Yeah, like, so I was here, I took my picture, I think I was maybe like over here, and I took that shot, and I thought I heard like somewhere in that region.
That's down towards Louse Camp.
Where we just were?
Yeah.
Well, you know. Yeah, I don't want to step into that.
Thinking maybe a howl would be good.
Alright, I haven't done a howl in a while. Oh!
Well, you did a howl and I did a howl. I don't think they're gonna respond back if they are there. But the nice thing is we did howls here, so if they don't know it's us and we go into Laird, hopefully we can fool that something's there.
I just don't, I hate that we don't knock enough back, in my opinion. That's what we're hearing. But it's like, it was a situation where there's not good trees around us.
Because that's the only problem. Even though, like, if you define a good tree, these trees absorb so much sound. Even our howls, unless you're on a ridge like this.
That was like a hardwood, like down and it carried. So it works wherever they're at. It works for them. If that's what I heard, you know. But up here we got a bunch of like stunted growth, like softwood that doesn't like pop like what we want it to do.
No.
And I mean, we can make it like, we can make a good
Pop.
wood knock.
Yeah.
If we look around, we can find something and just dang, you know, bang, you know. But to be heard across the valley, like,
is impossible right now.
Yeah, we need like a huge resonating chamber, like a super tree. It's just meant for wood knocking, and we don't have that.
No. So I think what we should do now is we go to Laird Meadow and go to the blind before it gets too dark.
Yeah.
So we have some light.
Yeah.
So let's get on that.
All right.
So we're headed into the meadow. Can't see because it's a bushwhack into this place. So we're gonna make our way in. Which way did we actually go through? I think it was up here, wasn't it? I can't remember.
I can't tell in the dark.
Anyway, we're gonna make our way through.
Come on, Bubba.
I can't even tell. I mean, this is the meadow up here somewhere. Does it look like any spots where it's opened up?
Huh?
Watch out your stuff. Watch your stuff, right?
Look at the sky.
I just can't tell, dude. I don't think so, man. So we parked the Jeep. We know the little meadows over here. We call it Little Meadow or Little Laird, and then Big Laird is that way. But the problem with the Big Laird is where we set up the blind, and even in the daytime, there's no trail, like you said.
Yeah, it's just like various broken game trails that go from the road into the meadow, and we went out down a couple of them, and they were like, they dead ended, and we didn't want to start bushwhacking away from the meadow and just into the deep woods. So we got a blind set up there that we're not going to tonight
because we don't want to get lost,
because it's just too dark out here, and there's like no like surefire, like clearly marked trail to lead into the meadow. With fear of getting lost bushwhacking through the trees, Tate and Ron alter their plan and instead drive up to the top of the mountain, where they will try a new method of research.
So Ron and I drove up to the top of the world. The stars are amazing from up here, but we have the top down on the Jeep. Reaching my hand through. Front windows are down. So we're doing a method of just car squatching. And I don't know if it's the wind doing it or what, but I thought I heard two like boo, boo knocks down the mountain towards our camp. So we're gonna go drive down the mountain and sit in different spots with the car off and just listen and see what happens. So if nothing happens here in 5 more minutes, we're going to take off and go down the mountain and sit at one more spot. Then we're going to go drive another road area that Ron found those hair samples on, and try that and see what's down that way. So should be interesting. These make a pretty good loud knock sound, so we're gonna do a couple knocks just through the roof of the Jeep and go silent, see if we hear anything. You want to do the honors, Ron?
Nope.
Okay. Here's one. Ouch.
That was loud.
So it's pretty dead here. We're gonna make our way down the road to a new spot. We're just gonna drive to a spot that feels vibey and do a couple of knocks from there and see what we get. So Ron and I are at a new spot on the road. Just gonna hang out here do some knocks and see what happens, but before that happens, we're gonna wait here a few minutes to kind of let our presence settle down and then go from there. So try to hit the end area.
Okay, see how the tape's on there. How was that?
Good. To the next area, man. So silent here. It's getting pretty thick in here. We made it to our last spot. It's really thick back in here. This place looks pretty squatchy. It'll be pitch black in here when the lights go out. So we're gonna hang out in here a little bit, do some knocks, and hopefully something responds to us. So, Ron, earlier you were telling me.
Yeah, so
I'm gonna turn the car off while you do that.
So when I was taking an environmental field tech class. And kind of what we were doing with Bigfoot is what wildlife specialists do to conduct surveys for certain animals. And essentially, like, we're traveling a road, or if you're traveling a trail that traverses around a mountain or a valley or something, that's considered like a non-linear survey. But there's like audio surveys that you can conduct as well, with animals that are very social and vocal, like coyotes, wolves, owl species, certain types of owls. And so you go to different points, and as you're traversing around, and it might be by a vehicle on a road, you stop at several different locations, and you give a certain designated amount of time to do vocals and wait for a response. And that's kind of what we were doing up here. Was we were doing knocks, or we were doing whoops and Bigfoot calls, and then waiting for something to happen. And you don't always get a response, and that's like not only with Bigfoot, but just in wildlife in general. And then you move up to the next location, and you note it. And if you hear something, your goal is to try and like hear something from multiple locations to kind of pinpoint a proposed range for that species. So like if you hear let's say like there's suspicion, there's been sightings of wolves in a valley, you know, you might want to travel a road on the east side of the valley and howl and see if you get a response. And if you don't, but then you get responses on the west side of the valley, then their range is maybe favoring the west side. And so you kind of start to put together things. Maybe there's a north point, and so you might determine that they're on the northwest side of that valley, and that's their range where they populate most of the time. So that's just like you can get real wildlife data by traveling the roads and trying to get responses from different types of vocalizations.
Well, that's basically what we're doing tonight.
Yeah.
Because our plan was to do Layered Meadow, but I think we went over it earlier. We couldn't because we couldn't find the trail into Layered Meadow because there is no established trail. I just saw a crazy shooting star. But we didn't want to get lost, so this was plan B. So
not bad though, not a bad use of our time.
no, I don't think so. So we're out here, we're gonna spend a little time and hopefully things respond to us. So, back to camp. So we made it back to camp after an uneventful night. So we're gonna get ready to go to bed and then go to bed. So maybe something will come back to camp. I think, Ron, you're gonna have an audio recorder going for a few hours at least.
Yep, I already got it deployed.
Perfect, so we'll have that. So if anything does come into camp, we should get it if it comes into camp within 2 hours. But yeah, so good night everybody, and we'll see what tomorrow morning holds if anything happens in the middle of the night. So we just finished packing up. We're gonna make our way to our final destination in the Bluff Creek area. We're leaving Laird Meadow. We gotta go to Laird Meadow to get Ron's blind and his trail cameras. And then we're gonna head up the road. So good times. Quiet, quiet, quiet. Really unfortunate. So we've been, what, 3 weeks on this trip with nothing?
Yeah.
Nothing happened. This is a huge area where we're in, and they could be anywhere right now. So, I mean, we're doing what we can, but unfortunately it's not enough. They're just not here apparently. So we're hoping our last spot of the trip will yield better fruit, so onwards.
Another quiet and silent night yet again, but Tate and Ron are determined to get something. They check out a spot where just a few months earlier researchers Todd Samples and Doug Chez found what is quite possibly Bigfoot tracks in the snow.
It was April 30th, 2023. We normally take day trips up here to the Sequoias, well, to the Sequoias, to the Siskiyous, to, you know, just do day trips to explore certain lumber roads. You know, we will cut out lumber roads to get down, you know, deep into the bush, and just one of our normal trips. And we come up to a snow drift or a snow bank, and couldn't drive no farther on the dirt roads. We stopped and got out, thinking the tracks we saw were just human, but once we saw the toes, then we knew it was something other than human. But just another day trip into the Siskiyous, which we didn't think, you know, we were going to find anything, but it found us, really.
Yeah, and it was actually Kerry that saw it first. He goes, "Wow, look, there's toes in this," and we started looking at it, and you know, we saw like some snow tracks of, you know, these footprints that went up like over 100 yards and then came down, and there was absolutely no other prints there, because people had parked a few hundred yards behind there, and you could tell people had played in the snow and this and that. So we went through a couple little spots where we could get through with four-wheel drive, and then we hit that spot and we realized we couldn't go any further. So we jumped out and saw that. Fortunately, I did film like a 23-second video, because I thought, I don't want to ruin this before we start stepping all over the place. And you know, typical of what happens when you find something like this, we had tape measures in the truck and we didn't even think about pulling them out. We just were so like surprised to see this, because it was like a 5-foot gate 100 yards up, and then solid 8 to 10 foot gate, like it had maybe heard Todd's truck. I'm not sure, because they were so fresh. And that's the thing that impressed me the most, because if it was just some kind of print that someone had made, like a, you know, they would all look the same, but you could tell that each step was different, like the way it hit the depth of the snow. And that's what impressed me the most, was the fact that there's just no way that it would be so different for every step, and yet it's the same exact creature. You could tell by the prints. Yeah, and especially running down the hill, it was so gigantic. The
gate was so, even going up was 4 feet plus.
Yeah.
You couldn't even, and if someone did make it,
they'd fall over.
You'd fall over, and you see other, you know, handprints or other footprints, and there was nothing. It was just prints going up, prints coming down.
But these prints, I've never seen anything like it. I mean, I've always been kind of like Les Stroud. I've always said I want to see it to believe it, but I've had a lot of weird things happen. But this kind of made me, seeing these prints, I was like, whoa, there's something to this, because what 7'5" human, which they could never have done that gate even downhill at a full sprint.
Without falling over.
Without falling over. What 7'5" human would run barefooted 100 yards up? And plus, you know, you have your arch.
The depth of the,
you have your archway.
We were jumping on the snow in our boots, and we got an inch down. These things, when in the deepest snow, was going down 4 to 6 inches. So I mean, there was no way. You would have to weigh 500 pounds to make that imprint in the snow.
So we're on the go road at the mile marker where Doug, Chez, and Todd Samples found those tracks just a few months ago, because there was snow up here on the road, and they stopped and they walked, and they were seeing these tracks that were pretty long. So we're here investigating to see if we can find any more tracks, to hopefully cast one. That'd be kind of cool, but I'm guessing we're not going to find anything, but you never know. That's why we're out here doing this. So that's the go road. So anything up here on this plateau, flat area just above the road, they can duck right out of cover and be unseen. So we're checking here for tracks. Not finding anything yet. We're looking. Trying to look for tracks on this hill over here to see if we could see anything, but no tracks yet. It's really dry, so that's unfortunate. There is nothing. It is bone dry. So finding tracks is going to be nearly impossible on this hard, dirt, rocky soil. To our last camp spot for the day, or for the next few days. Up the road is where Todd and Doug found those tracks in the snow a few months ago. And we're here at Beans Camp. It's a cool little area. What do you think of it, Ron?
I like it.
Pretty squatchy. Yeah, we get squatch from the ridge. And our calls carry pretty far off that way, which is nice. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this. This is a cool area, so can't wait for it to get dark and see what's spooking around here. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna wait, cook some lunch or dinner, and wait for it to get dark, and then hit it. So should be fun. So the coolest thing just happened. I woke up to start the fire, right? And I get out of the car and the cars are right there, and right here was a doe just standing right there, and it walks up to me within 5 feet of me. That was really cool. I don't think I'll ever get to experience that again in a long time, but you're commenting the deer kind of bold like that.
Yeah.
Like,
because it's not like they're conditioned to human presence out here. They're wild, and there's not a lot of campers coming down here every day feeding them, you know. So it's just weird that they just have like a bold curiosity and they'll walk right up like that.
I think that thing is still there. He's still over there. It's pretty cool. So, man, I mean, that's cool. There's deer here. We saw a possible bear track that Ron found earlier today.
Yeah.
It was pretty fresh within like today or yesterday. So, but it is pitch black in here. It is quiet too. But we're gonna start a fire and start doing some tree knocks and start with that. And if that doesn't work, we're gonna go for calls. And if that doesn't work, well, then I don't know. So we're here tonight and tomorrow night, so hopefully we'll bring them in, but we'll see. Ron's gonna do a knock here in a second. It's pitch black right now.
I'm doing it. I'm gonna do 3.
All right. Aren't working, so I'm gonna do a howl and see if that will bring something in. There's a deer right behind us that's been coming in, so if you hear something take off immediately, that's the deer, because it probably startled her. But okay, here it goes. Ready, Ron?
Mm-hmm.
Was that an echo? Did you hear that?
Yeah.
That had to be an echo. That had to be an echo, dude. Try it again and see if that was an echo. Yeah, that's an echo. It's crazy. We're not getting anything to respond to us with knocks or calls. They just may not simply be in the area, but you know, this is only the first night here. We've had a fire on and off this evening. We were making food. We were kind of walking around the area. So hopefully from what we were doing tonight, something comes in tomorrow night or later this night here. But we're getting the silent treatment. So we're going to turn in for tonight and try again tomorrow. So this is our last night in the Bluff Creek area. We're not gonna have a fire this time. We're actually gonna sit and do some knocks. We're trying to be as quiet as we can, with the idea of thinking we're in bed. So that's the goal. If we can do knocks tonight and get a response, that'll be cool. So no fire tonight. Hopefully because of that, something will feel safe, think we're asleep, and want to come check us out. So we did a knock a few minutes ago. It's pretty quiet. So we're gonna do a couple more knocks. We only did one, but we're gonna do 3. Okay, we're gonna do the 3 knocks. To my right, movement. I hear more directly ahead, like down the second campsite. Maybe even down by the pond. Yeah, that's where I was hearing it. So we're hearing movement down that way, towards the second camp in that pond. We know that there's bear. Yeah, there's deer moving through here. There's definitely bear, because Ron found a track, pretty fresh track the other day. And the deer here are very bold. Might even be elk here. Yeah, there might be elk here too, so there's a lot of big animals moving around, but not the big one we're looking for so far. We're not getting any So we got a couple rocks on the hedge we're gonna throw down into the trees. So, Ron, if you want to go, I'll go. Then let's go run after another.
I throw one down there and then one to the left.
I'm gonna do one on each side. Dang, that sounded big though.
Yeah.
Nice. So we were only throwing rocks about this size. And to you, they said they sounded 6 pounds.
Yeah, they sound like a 5 or 6 pound rock.
Yeah.
Tossed.
They were heavy. We're gonna do. Ron's gonna do something here.
Ready?
Yeah, go for it. Getting anything, we're gonna crank up the party, so to speak. But that's the plan now. We're gonna go set up for that. So we played a few songs. Some were interesting. But behind the camera, down that way, there's some movement. Bear, deer, I don't know. No knocks. All in all, I mean, Bigfoot wise, we got skunked out the whole time, which is just, it's a bummer in the Bluff Creek area. But this is a really vast wilderness. But I love coming up here no matter if we don't get Bigfoot activity, because it's just a beautiful area to be in. There's so many cool spots to camp in. We've had some unique running with deer here so far, and that's been pretty special. You know, good food, good times, good peoples. Can't complain about that, right, Ron? Maybe Ron can. But no, you know, if we had Bigfoot activity, that would have been a plus. But yeah, it is a bummer. So it's been a fun journey out here to Bluff Creek this year. Alright. Peace. Good morning. Nothing happened last night. So we broke camp and we're leaving the Bluff Creek area after a long 3 weeks or something like that. But like I said before, I enjoy coming here no matter what, but wish we had some Bigfoot activity. That would have made it a whole lot better. But you know what? Regardless of it, we keep at it. We know they're here. This is a vast, vast area. But we will see what happens when we return to the Bluff Creek area again.
Unfortunately, Tate and Ron didn't get anything in the way of activity during their time at Beans Camp. And as beautiful as this area is, it's also a very vast wilderness. So these creatures could be anywhere. Something that Ron and Tate picked up on was how few berries were in season this year. Could that be why the team hasn't gotten any Bigfoot activity? Not enough food? This is only speculation and could be difficult to know with any certainty. But what is known is that Tate is not done coming back to Bluff Creek. Bluff Creek is ground zero for Bigfoot, and despite extremely low to no activity, Bluff Creek still has the right type of environment a Bigfoot would need to survive. And it is with this understanding that the search for Sabe in Bluff Creek will continue.